the fact is that the majority of people who are coming across the channel, they are not refugees in the strictest sense of the word. There's absolutely no reason why they should not be returned to the safe country that they're coming from. Until that begins to happen, I'm afraid the numbers will go up and up and up, simply because it's easy money and it works.
Alf, should we not be considering other measures such as making processing much faster and much easier? There's a huge backlog in processing in the UK. Maybe if we accepted that it's a really difficult issue to resolve and that the people coming in should be processed faster, that might be an alternative option.
That's not going to stop them coming across the channel, frankly. The only effective measure that we can take is for the French, and primarily it is the French, to take them back. And let's bear in mind that a lot of the people who come here, they haven't simply descended from the air on the northern shores of France. They've entered France, they've entered the EU at some point. Why are they not dealt with at that point? Why does the French have to wait until boats are out on the channel before they react, and sometimes only after they've actually reached our waters? The fact is that at the moment, the French really are not playing their part, if indeed they want to stop illegal immigration across the channel.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why I suspect that they don't want to, despite the fact that Priti Patel has offered up 54 million quid, is that, according to reports, it's going to cost us about 70 million pounds a year just to keep the people that have come over here illegally in hotels and general living costs for them. So presumably the French have worked out that it's cheaper for them to let them come to Britain. Do you think that's where we are?
I don't think that the French have thought it through to that extent, personally. My feeling is that they want to do it. Let them cross the channel if that's what they want to do, and that it's easier for the French to take that course of action. I don't think they've really thought carefully about what it costs, or I'm sure the EU, frankly, would be prepared to stump up the money if France really wanted to take care of those who very often entered France illegally, frankly, or at least the EU illegally. The fact is, at the moment, they just do not want to do anything about it.
So what do you think should be done? And we had the refugee and migrant crisis a few years ago. This has been an issue that the EU and the UK have been grappling with for several years. What do you think can be done?
Well, as I've intimated, the only thing that we can do, first of all, those who do actually make it onto our shores, or those that we do take in at that point, I think should be held, detained, and their cases dealt with quickly. Once we have made a decision, then we must abide by that decision. And if it's no, then they must be returned from wherever they came from. The vast majority, even an EU commissioner, a senior EU commissioner recently said that the majority of people are not refugees. These are migrants who are looking for a better life. Okay, if that's the basis on which we're going to admit anyone who says, I want a better life, I want to come to your country, fine. But the people of this country do not want that. We've got our own issues. We've got our own pressures and shortages, frankly, and to go on saying more and more people can come here is just not something that the British people and the British public actually want.
There are some people, just to play devil's advocate here, who say, look, we are all one. We are all one human race, and we all have, therefore, a kind of collective duty to look after people. And so what if we have 12,500 people come over the channel? We're a wealthy country. We're the fourth or fifth largest economy in the world. Surely it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, if you look at in isolation, here are 12,000 people. Here are, I think, 13,500 so far this year. And that's grown exponentially over the last 3 years. But it isn't just that. We already said we're going to take in 20,000 Afghans. We said not so long ago that we can have anything up to 5 million Hong Kong overseas British nationals, overseas passport holders come here. We are all the time. There are other routes where we are actually thinking carefully and bringing people in, making proper arrangements for them. So it's not as if we're not doing anything, but the fact is we're talking about millions and millions of people. Are we going to say to all of them, yes, you're welcome, come here, we'll look after you? That's just not sensible. It isn't on. It isn't what the people of this country want.
Thank you. Alp Mehmet, Chairman of Migration Watch and former British diplomat.